On the win, what are your thoughts on a performance, one that means you qualify automatically?
I think we control very well the game. We had more possession. Of course, we have to understand the opponent. Is not, with all due respect, is not the same level as Premier League. So we have more time to think, to connect the plays, and I think Kobe in that position played very well, with more freedom, with not so much responsibility running back all the time. And I think the lads did a good job, clean sheet again, create some chances. We have to score more goals because today we had the opportunities, but in the end we made some rotation. We took 2 games from the schedule. It was a good day for us.
The only thing you didn't mention, Ruben, is the key and decisive substitutions at half-time. Did they change the game?
No, not entirely the game, but again, I already spoke about that. In the first half, they run a lot to cover all the spaces, and then you feel it that in the second half, the opponent also get tired, and it's easy for the guys that come in. But of course, Garner has a different pace. In this more like a forward, a winger is different from Chris that was playing in that position. Ahmad is really good on 1-against-1 and can push players to defend with them, open more space. So it was a good work from everybody.
Yeah. Did the goals represent a sort of style of football that you're looking to introduce at Man United?
Of course, we want to improve a lot the way we play. We want to play a little bit more closer than today, but again, we need to play like this against an opponent with more pressure, with different pace, with more quality on the ball. So we have to adapt and to improve the team.
3 wins in a row. Does it start to feel like you're gaining some momentum now?
It depends. The most important thing is not the 3 that we won, is the next one. So let's focus. It's Sunday. We will arrive tomorrow, so we have 1 day to prepare. We have to recover the players. We are going to sleep here to work in the morning, so we are trying everything to recover the players and then to be competitive.
And how pleased are you to have a less busy schedule in February?
That is the biggest thing. More than the win is to have time to train, to have time to recover the players for playing Premier League. That is a key point for us.
Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you very much.
Ruben, congratulations. It's what you wanted to achieve to qualify automatically.
That is massive for us. The joy of winning, the feeling of winning, but you put together that we will have 2 weeks to work our idea and to prepare the games is really massive for us. We are in the next stage. We are going to prepare for the next stage. But the most important thing now is to recover. Sunday we have a game with our fans and we have to be ready for that.
You've said before that winning is important. As important is this team feeling that they're getting used to winning and becoming more consistent?
And more natural, the feeling of winning, that is really important. You can feel the dressing room a little bit more relaxed, but more relaxed in a good way, because we know that everything can change on Sunday, but you feel it is a different environment. You want to keep that feeling to work in a better way.
Surprisingly, it was Diogo and Kobe's first goals of the season. They've normally got a few by now, but great to get them on the score sheet.
Yes, of course. Diogo already had some chances in different games. Kobe Mainoo played in a different position, was with more freedom, more near the box. He's so technical, he can change the game there. So I think it's a good position for him. We will see, but I'm really happy to see Kobe enjoy the game a little bit more. Sometimes he's always worried about the recovery, trying to defend, and I know that he's trying. Today I felt that Kobe enjoyed more the game, and I am feeling really happy for that.
I understand now your answer to my question pre-match when I asked about Bruno and Christian playing in the 10s. And it was good to see Kobe there because he's got a real great skill set, good attributes to be that player.
And I think, yeah, sometimes you think about things and we talk about in the staff and we imagine things, but then we need to know the player and we need time to work with the player to understand that sometimes our idea is wrong and we have to change it. We will see. Kobe can play in different positions, but I think this position is really good and he didn't spend so much time there training. We didn't have training, so I think he can improve in that.
And now, just finally, you've got to recover, haven't you? Because it is a quick turnaround. You're staying here, though, to aid that recovery, and that will help.
Of course, there's no other way to do it. We can go back and don't sleep, don't eat properly. So we are going to eat now, sleep. Some guys are going to train. We are going to recover. Then we arrive there late. Players can be a little bit upset, but it's a good thing, and they will be prepared for Sunday.
Diogo, congratulations on the victory. It was a tough first half, but in the second half, you really upped your game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first half was just us trying to understand where we could have hurt them. Obviously, second half with Ahmad and Gardner, we were a little bit more with more threat in the final third, a bit more direct. But overall, I think we controlled the whole game. I mean, even after the first goal, we consider one or two chances that could have changed the game. More from lack of focus than probably from the opposition. But overall, I think we are really happy with the performance, with the result. Another clean sheet, which is also important for us, and go through the next phase and directly for. That's what we wanted. So it was really, really good from us.
And for you to score your first of the season, I was just saying as we were chatting then, it's surprising that statistic because you normally do weigh in with a few.
Yeah, it was something obviously that I was looking for. Obviously, it's always special to score for this club, to always score to help the team. Really happy to come back to the score sheet. So I'm glad that I could have helped the team win the game.
And a different type of goal for you because we've seen your long-range shooting, which is excellent, but that's a far post goal, tucking in, getting in the box. Is that something you add in as a wing back?
Yeah, it's something that I think I can do even more. So it's something that has to come, especially from our wide players who have to arrive in the box, back post, and you can see how many players we can have in the box when we are in the final third. And I think that's important for us to start to understand that for score goals we have to be there. If we're not there, we're not going to score.
And the first of the season for Kobe as well, another surprising statistic, but he was playing a little bit further forward, so that would have helped him, and he played well.
I think you can see how a good football he can be, playing in all types of zones of the pitch. I think this area of the pitch is a really good threat because he's really strong holding the ball. He's really good progressing the ball as well, and then this quality that he has on his feet, I think it's also important, and the combinations that he did. I mean, he did assist as well, so I think overall he did a good game. I think he's happy with the performance.
Just finally, Diogo, a quick turnaround now, isn't it, before you host Crystal Palace at Old Trafford? It's all about your recovery and getting ready for that one.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, we're staying here, so that means that we need to focus on recovery. We play on Sunday, so it's going to be a tough game. I think we have to recover really quick so we can be ready to win the game.
Best of luck and well done tonight.
And they were the much better side.
Yeah, the subs changed the game, didn't they, Robbie, at half-time?
Yeah, they did, and it's amazing. I think Garnacho, I don't think he's a 10. Listen, he played as a 10, but he drifted out wide. I think Garnacho's best when he can run at the opposition. I don't think he's at his best when he's got his back to goal. So I like to see him on the left, but he's not a wing-back. You know, and Kobe Mainoo as a 10, I think that's his best position personally. You know, Owen might disagree, but I think, you know, in those tight areas as a 10, that's where I think he's at his best. So, again, I think he's solving the problems 3 in a row, as Lucy said in commentary, and his positivity for Manchester United. It was a good second half.
Yeah, it was. Mainoo involved in both of the goals, Owen. What did you like about his performance tonight?
Yeah, and think because Eriksen and Bruno were playing a bit deeper, it allowed Kobe to release and get further forward. And I said at half-time, just play the ball in there, just put it in. You know, Kobe does a brilliant job of putting it into an area, and Dalot gets a tap in. You know, obviously you need players to be in the back post. Dalot does brilliantly. Kobe releases it. How about this for Garnacho? Well, he was brilliant when he come on, and Kobe he learned from the first one and just passed it into the goal.
But again, look at where Garnacho is. He's on the left-hand side running towards the goal, and he's got pace. I think pace is the leveller. Ahmad's pace, Garnacho's pace. I think when they're running at teams, they're a threat. And I think Kobe is that 10. You know, I don't think he's a 6 in this Manchester United team. And the argument is he a 10? Is he creative enough to be a 10? Is he defensively minded enough to be a 6? I think he has to play in a 3. Obviously, Manchester United don't play that. You know, he's probably an 8. But he
almost played in a 3 today, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, because Garnacho kept going out to that left-hand side. I think Kobe Mainoo, for me, is a 10 in that team. But listen, he can play as a 6, of course he can. I think in tighter areas, he's really good. And you've seen the run in the first half when they had the volley. He had the chance over the bar. He's created a goal. He scored a goal. So I thought Kobbie Mainoo was brilliant tonight.
Just looking at the table that's on screen, guys, confirmation there. Manchester United finishing in 3rd place. Tottenham just below them. They won tonight. So did Rangers as well. And that means that they're actually finishing in the automatic qualification spots as well. So all the British sides involved in the final night of the Europa League phase this evening, all winning and all going through in one of those automatic spots. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Really, I mean, amazing for Rangers. To be fair, that's going to be a tough place to, for a knockout game. And I think for United, they did the job. They need to look. They can win this competition. Tottenham can do the same as well. So could completely change their season, get them into the Champions League.
That's what we were saying earlier, wasn't it, Robbie? This has to be a priority for United now.
Yeah, it is, and they've got those 2 free weeks now where Ruben Amorim can work on the training ground. Listen, it's a real positive result for Manchester United and for Spurs. Spurs with the youngsters scoring tonight as well. So seeing Big Ange smile tonight was nice as well. So again, it's a good night for British clubs.
Guys, thanks for now. Matt Smith and The Goal Show are coming up for you next. They're going to wrap up all the Europa League action, including more reaction from Owen and Robbie, and also more reaction to come from Bucharest as well. So Matt and the team taking over next. We'll see you very soon.
Of the final night in the league phase of the Europa League. Ajax were too good for Galatasaray tonight. They confirmed their playoff place. Galatasaray don't make the top 8. Hoffenheim have not qualified even for the playoffs, despite a heroic 4-3 win at Anderlecht, who drop out of the top 8. Bilbao, one of the horses with force in this competition, have beaten Pilsen tonight. Braga have beaten Lazio, but nonetheless, Braga don't qualify. Lazio finish top of the tree. Kyiv, a pride win over RFS, who can't qualify, don't qualify. United at top 8, we already knew was almost certain, and they've completed the job with that 2-0 win. Ferencváros, 4-3 winners over AZ, with Robbie Keane, of course, in charge of the Hungarian side. One apiece, Lyon and Ludogorets in France. Maccabi Tel Aviv beaten by Porto, who move into the playoffs courtesy of that win. Midtjylland and Fenerbahce shared 4 goals and a point apiece, and Jose Mourinho's side just make the playoffs. Nice couldn't qualify. Bodo Glimt drop out of the top 8 with that 1-1 draw. Olympiacos, handsome winners over Karabag. Rangers, big winners over Saint-Gilloise. Real Sociedad have beaten PAOK tonight by 2-0 in San Sebastian. Roma with a much-needed win over Eintracht Frankfurt. Roma into the playoffs. Frankfurt stay in the top 8. Slavia and Malmo 2 apiece in a game that had only pride at stake. Tottenham, as we've just said, 3-0 winners. And 20 beat Besiktas, and in doing so, condemn Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side to elimination. Here is how they finish. Lazio on 19 points, take top spot. Athletic in second. They also finish on 19. United and Spurs then third and fourth with 18 and 17 points respectively. Eintracht, despite defeat tonight, on 16, finish in fifth. Lyon, Olympiacos and Rangers make up the top 8. Rangers on goal difference on 14 points. They finish ahead of 3 teams in Bodo Glimt, Anderlecht and FCSB, all on 14 points, but all will now have to make do with the playoffs. Ajax, Sociedad, Galatasaray, Roma and Pilsen will be the seeded sides in those playoffs. They'll take on Ferencváros, Porto, AZ, Midtjylland, Saint-Gilloise, PAOK, 20 and Fenerbahce. They, the unseeded sides that will play home first, courtesy of tomorrow's draw, and all the teams below that, of course, from Braga down to Dinamo Kyiv, are eliminated from the competition. Joe Cole, Don Hutchison and James Horncastle in the studio with us all night. And I think we can go straight. 3 wins on the spin, best run.
Playing well, and he speaks well as well. I think he's very honest. Sometimes a little bit too honest, but you get the feeling when he talks and when he sees what he's seeing inside Manchester United and at Carrington, you know what he's saying is for the best and it's for the greater good of the club. And they started the campaign quite trickily, didn't they? They drew the first 3 games, looked a little bit of a shambles at times, but they won the last 5. They need to come out of that in terms of the Premier League. The Premier League form is still not amazing, so they got a good 1-0 win against Fulham that you probably will never want to watch again, but they got the clean sheet and 3 points. But they have to now try and kick on, because sitting in the bottom half of the table, them and Tottenham should never ever be there.
Well, no, and really, given that league position that they're both in, isn't this all the more of a priority? Isn't this their chance?
Yeah, I mean, I always think English clubs should be winning this competition by dint of the fact that the Premier League is so wealthier than the other leagues that when we talk about Europe's top 5 leagues, we need to stop doing that, because the Premier League is out on its own. And I think with particularly with United, the amount of investment that's gone into United, the fact that they're all of a sudden in the last couple of years having to think about PSR when we always used to just think, United, richest club in the world in terms of revenue, commercial, and they've spent it, and got nowhere with it. But nevertheless, they should still be the favourite for this competition. I think it's a failure if they don't win this competition. It sounds crazy to say that at this early stage, but Jose went and won this competition. When
I
he
wouldn't
was
fancy them with a full-strength Tottenham side.
No.
I wouldn't trust Man United with a full-strength Tottenham
Okay,
side.
Spurs, they can't meet, actually, the way the draw has worked out, they can't meet till the final now.
I wouldn't. I think Spurs, fully fit Spurs got more about them.
Yeah.
With Spurs with everybody fit and firing?
Yeah.
A little bit more than Man United?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
they proved that at Old Trafford.
The fact is, you say Spurs all fit and firing. I mean, the team that's beaten the pre-season Elfsborg side tonight, Spurs, is the Tottenham elite development team, isn't it?
Yeah.
With those kids. Yeah. So, who's going to be left in May?
I just think when I look at it, if you're gauging it on which club do you think needs the more drastic surgery in terms of players in, players out, it's Man United. Spurs are not a million miles away. Once everyone's fit, they're not a million miles away.
So, you bang on. Spurs and Manchester United, anything less than getting to the final of this tournament with the teams left, I don't think is good enough. I think Tottenham will come back and I think it's been a great finish to the season for them. I think what we could do, and you're right, the Premier League is streets ahead in terms of how strong it is compared to the other leagues. When we get to the knockout stages, I remember playing in France, and when you played in Europe in France, they moved your fixtures around to try and help their teams.
Yeah.
I think that would help benefit, because say Manchester United, they play on a Thursday night, they might have to go to Brighton on Sunday at 12. Do you know what I mean? Or to Brentford, and it is all these other Galatasaray, Besiktas, they're going to somewhere in Turkey where they can play at 75% and win. And as the months and months, the Dutch do it well. And as the months accumulate, the intensity of our league actually can be detrimental in the backstage. So clearly now we're looking at it at the turn of the year. Manchester United and Tottenham are the best teams left in this competition, in my opinion. You can argue maybe the Turkish sides might have a say. Galatasaray.
Galatasaray, one of Man United's possible opponents as well as Tottenham's.
Beat them last year
on paper, you might say that, but I think Chelsea certainly have to get to the Conference League final and win that. And I think the two other British clubs, with a little bit of help domestically around like this fixture and the teams at the back end of this. We know we're the strongest league because we've got the most money and we drive that side of it. But it's so intense. We could have helped ourselves to help Manchester United, help Tottenham get to the back end, and it'll eventually all come back and help our league.
Thing is,
as well.
my argument was it's like economic, but in that Premier League teams are so rich that they can have the squad depth. That the teams that maybe their leagues help with their fixtures, they don't have that squad depth. You look at that bench that United have got tonight: Onana, 50 million; Lindelof, Harry Maguire, most expensive centre back of all time. Zirkzee, okay, 45 million, that was a buyout clause. Diallo, teenager, 17, 35 million they spent when we was at Atalanta. Casemiro, highest paid player probably in the Premier League. On the bench for United tonight. They, on that basis alone, they should be winning this competition.
And yet they lent on.
Money doesn't make you smart.
No, it doesn't. Nor does it rest your legs.
You say that when you're in for a contract.
True. And yet the man off the bench tonight, Mainoo, scored and made one. Let's hear from him post-match with Jeff Brazier.
Bobby, what are your thoughts on a winning performance?
Yeah, I mean, definitely tough game as we expected. Tough place to come. The atmosphere was really good, and yes, right now it's just important to keep on winning. More and more wins, and in this tournament we want to go as far as possible. So yeah, this is how it starts.
We saw you in a more advanced role today. The manager said he was certainly very happy with your performance. How was it for you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm just happy to be on the pitch for Manchester United, but wherever the manager needs me to play. Today it was higher up, and it turned out well, and I enjoyed it.
Talk us through your finish. You must be pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm more annoyed that I missed the one in the first half, but managed to get the one in the second, but I would have been happy with two.
And is it a relief to not have to play those 2 extra games in February?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of games at the moment, and there has been over December and January, so anywhere we can get rest is important. So, yeah.
Gobby, thank you.
Thank you.
To be in the end. Have you kept up with all the scenarios? I did.
from the Europa
Nico
League?
did an absolute fantastic job. I think for a club like Besiktas, because of the size and the expectations of what they've done recent years, that is going to be seen as a big disappointment for them. Really, it's probably going to be seen as an embarrassment.
For Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in his first couple of games, after they just fired Gio van Bronckhorst. But I think for Turkey in general, maybe Galatasaray and Fenerbahce fans just would have wanted Besiktas to get through, not for the sake of the rivalry. Yeah, sure, they'll be happy that they're out, but for the sake of the coefficient
for the league,
Turkey,
yes.
for the coefficient for European football next, because at one point Turkey had automatic spots to the Champions League, and now they don't at the moment. So, in theory, even though you're rivals, you would hope that Turkish teams do better for the sake of your country's football. But Besiktas dropping out of the top 24 isn't good.
No good. Well, the table turned plenty of times, didn't it, tonight? Let's take a look at the final table and show you who's gone through in the automatic position and who's gone through, obviously, in the playoff position as well. A couple of the teams came into today thinking, well, we're safe at least in terms of the top 8. Lazio may be the perfect example. Even though they lost today, they still go through in the top spot. They've been so impressive. Athletic Club, Manchester United, Tottenham, Frankfurt, Lyon, Olympiacos, your dark horse, Nigel, and Rangers join them. And then you've got a bunch of teams that will face the knockout round playoffs with some really big teams in there. And Roma, Charlie, were another big talking point coming into tonight because they had to win to get themselves in this position.
Yeah, they were on the brink of being eliminated if they didn't get the result they needed tonight. And can we talk about what Claudio Ranieri has done for this club? They climb up to 15th. They feel like, you know, they're getting goals, they're getting opportunities. I really felt that Dovbyk had a good game. He probably should have finished 1 or 2 chances, but what an incredible turnaround from Claudio Ranieri. But I also want to point out, look at 3rd and 4th place here. Man United and Tottenham, we were talking about how abysmal their seasons have been and the dire need for results. And here they are in a comfortable position right now in the Europa League table.
Yeah, maybe it's not so bad.
Much of a tough run, though, have they? They haven't had, I don't think their run has been that bad in the competition.
You would expect,
Tottenham,
Manchester United and Spurs to be there. But yeah, there's been a lot of questions about both of their seasons. I mean, it's the talking point every single week. What Manchester United don't do, what they still have to do. Spurs and Ange under question. They're having the worst Premier League season they've ever had up until this point. So the fact that they're able to skip those 2 games and focus on the cups that are coming up,
that's the biggest bonus for that.
It's very important.
Especially with all the injuries, we talk about the injuries that they're dealing with and the current situation in the Premier League, which is super competitive right now, that this is a big win for Tottenham just to avoid 2 games.
Do you see them playing kids now in the Premier League because these kids have done well now?
No, I don't see that. It's a different animal. So I think for me that is the thing that they needed to do. Finish in that top 8, avoid playing a knockout round, because even if they did, with current form now, would you really back Tottenham if they got an unfavourable draw? It was a big risk.
Well, we'll talk more about Tottenham, obviously, because there was a lot to unpack from that game. A lot of substitutes, the 2 that scored, and the young stars as well, really shining today. Let's just have another look at the table, though, because the possible playoff situation now, Charlie, this is how it looks with the bracket, and we could be in for some really good matchups. Which one gets your attention here of all this bunch?
Porto versus Roma. That's one that comes to mind. Michelin, Real Sociedad. I like that matchup. Bodo Glimt, Twente, Bodo Glimt, Fenerbahce. I don't think you want to play Bodo Glimt. That's a team that you don't want to play in these knockout rounds.
Why are you laughing, Nigel?
I'm just enjoying Charlie's choices of matches.
Let me tell you something. Manchester United or Spurs, since they finished 3rd and 4th, they're going to play one of these 4 teams in the next round. Ajax, Midtjylland, Real Sociedad, or Galatasaray. Those bottom 4, the next rival of Manchester United and Spurs will come out of there.
How about Porto as well, sneaking in? We came into the match day thinking we might not even see them play another European match after this one this season.
They got the job done. They had to win today, and they got the job done. I think, like we said, we've had this conversation about this new format. It's all new to all of us. And maybe some clubs did take it lightly. They took it for granted and weren't aggressive enough, and knowing how important it is to go out there and try and win every single game. You can't be, how would I describe it? You can't really be naive in the sense of this new format. You really have to treat it like a league. You have to go and win every game to try and finish at the top.
For Porto, they were going into this match, they winless on 5 games. They sacked their manager. They had a polemic hire of their young Argentine manager from Cruz Azul in Mexico. It was his first game in charge, and he got business done, and he got Porto into the knockout stage. For a team that has European pedigree like Porto, it was very important that they stay alive in this competition.
How do you feel about the table in general? Now we've seen it obviously in the Champions League last night, and we saw Manchester City have a scare. They're through. As a whole, do you like this format, Charlie, so far?
I'm in love with it.
You do?
Yes, I'm sold. And we talked about it early on. We got to see maybe a couple iterations. I don't. I like the fact that there's so much uncertainty. Teams move up, they move down. You had one team, really, Lazio, that you didn't really have to worry about. Everywhere else, the shift, the fight for top 8, 9 through 24, it just felt like there was a lot of things going into match day 8, more so than we would in the regular format.
Do you feel the same, Nigel?
You are easily pleased. I'm still intrigued. I do like it. I think it's interesting still for me. I like the stories of what I see. Again, when you look at the format, I look at the teams and performances. And for me, Athletic Club, as Nico would say. And,
as everybody else would say, yes.
Athletic Club. And Lazio.
As the name of the club is,
anyway,
as the full world.
They've been really good in the performances, in all the performances they've had from start to finish. And I'm still interested in how the knockout round now plays out.
What about the fact that Champions League teams no longer have the safety as well, dropping down into this competition? Because this competition in the past completely changed after this point, where you got the real
it's all or nothing,
maybe giants of Champions League that had a failure.
I'm all for this because we'd see teams say, you know what, we can win Europa League and then we can get back in the Champions League. It takes that out. So it's either you progress in Champions League or you're out.
Yeah, the reverse side of the coin is, the safety of dropping into the Europa League, but there's also safety that 24 of the 36 teams make it into a next stage. Yes, there's more games, there's more football, it might be more dynamic, but it's a more generous tournament. All of them. I want to see it. I was waiting for a 90th minute moment. There's 2 cutoffs. There's the 8th cutoff and there's a 24th line cutoff in one league. When we had 8 group stages, there were 2 cutoffs per group. So you were guaranteed that 90th minute, last minute drama. Here we were waiting for Braga to score 1 goal. Maybe it was just this iteration. I want to see, we have to wait 1 more year. That's why I say we need to see it several times play out, because yesterday we didn't get that 90th minute drama because there were only 2 lines in one league.
Well, that's the thing.
Before there were 2 lines in 8 groups.
It's a learning curve for us, and it's also a learning curve for all these clubs that are in it. So they're going to learn a lot from this first inaugural tournament of how to approach it next year. And I guarantee it won't be the same. We'll see a lot of changes.
The thing with those 2 lines, though, most of them were already set. So there was no drama.
But in 8 groups, maybe you might have 2 or 3 that weren't set, and you would get this drama. We just didn't get it this time in the night. Like, we wanted the Barcelona goal yesterday, and we wanted the Braga goal today, and we're just leaving it up to less variables, I feel like, personally.
But because it's 9 through 24, we get a matchup like potentially Manchester City Bayern or
You've got
Manchester
some big
City
matches again, which is what people want.
That's what we want.
Big matches in the next round, potentially.
And we won't have to wait long either, because obviously the draw is tomorrow.
Be happy, Nico.
I am happy. I'm super
happy.
This is an epic show.
We have to see 5 iterations.
Yeah, we do. We need to see, and you know what? We need to see the knockout stage playoff and the round of 16 happen. We can't make judgments of the league phase. The tournament isn't over. There's still a lot of room for excitement, more excitement.
And Vasquez scored. There you go.
Vasquez scored out of all people.
I've never heard Nigel say glass half full more times than I have since he's been in London. You really are the happiest edition of yourself here, aren't you? Good stuff. OK, we're going to see all of the goals throughout the night. We're going to start bringing